In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the entire 2021 rookie draft class for the New England Patriots. We're going to be going one by one, looking at every single pick, giving them a draft grade, and at the end, I'll give the entire draft class a grade as well. But be sure to destroy the like button if you want all of these players to become Pro Bowlers within their careers. If this video hits a certain amount of likes, there's a 100% chance that all of them become Pro Bowlers, guaranteed, without a doubt. Now, our first player is obviously Mac Jones. We're just going to go pick by pick. We picked him in the first round at number 15. Obviously, he was the most accurate college quarterback this season, and possibly in a very, very long time, the most accurate quarterback coming out of college. Pro Football Focus had him as the #1 quarterback last season, and the value here is what really gets me with this one. We got him at the 15th pick. He was supposed to go number 3 to the 49ers potentially. That obviously did not happen. So we got a great value here at 15 to get a quarterback of that caliber. I'm giving it an A+, obviously, here because of the value especially, but also because he could be one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks in this draft class. Obviously, anything's possible. We know there's Trevor Lawrence ahead of him. So obviously, Trevor Lawrence is likely going to be the best quarterback out of the entire draft. But anything is possible, you know, in the NFL, especially in the draft here. Number 2, we got Christian Barmore, and this is another one where the value is the biggest thing. He was the #1 interior defensive lineman in the draft, according to most experts, and we got him in the second round at the 6th pick. He was supposed to go in the first round. He should have gone in the first round, but we traded up to get him. We traded 2 fourth-round picks to go up and get him. Definitely a great value there, and especially since we went up to get him and traded up, that shows that our team had a lot of confidence in him. And with that Bill Belichick, Nick Saban connection, I have high confidence in this one. We're getting back-to-back A+ picks there with this one, both Alabama. Really cool there. Now for our 3rd overall pick, we got Ronnie Perkins, linebacker, in the 3rd round, in the 33rd pick of the 3rd round, that is, from Oklahoma. And basically with this player, it's a pretty interesting player because he's a little undersized for a defensive end, but at the same time, he doesn't really have great coverage ability either, so he fits more as like a edge rusher, but he is pretty limited with his run defense. There is some big limitations, but also some great things about this player, so it's really balanced. I'm giving him an A just because he is really good at what he is good at, but he does have some things that he needs to definitely either work on. Otherwise, he is going to have just some weaknesses throughout his career as a player. Now, our 4th overall pick was running back Romandre Stevenson in the 4th round, in the 15th pick of the 4th round from Oklahoma. So we went back-to-back Alabama, and now we're going back-to-back Oklahoma. This was kind of a need, but not necessarily. This is probably the least needed draft pick for sure. We obviously have Sony Michel, who is at least talented. We do have Damian Harris as well, who showed a lot of promise last season. We have James White still around as well. But what Romandre Stevenson brings to the team is basically what's been missing ever since we lost LeGarrette Blount, and that is a big bruising running back. He is fast for how good he is at being a bruising running back as well, so he has the best of both worlds. He is pretty quick. He's not like a speedster necessarily, but he can definitely get down the field, and he can also run straight through people as well. So this is something that really hasn't been a part of our team, again, since LeGarrette Blount went ahead and left. So I think this is a good pickup. I'm giving it a B because it's not necessarily an amazing value, and it's not necessarily a huge need, but it is a good addition there for sure. So that's why it's getting the B rating there from me. At number 5, we have linebacker Cameron McGrone with the 33rd pick in the 5th round. I really like this pick for multiple reasons. He's from Michigan, by the way. The thing I like most here is his age. He's 20 years old, so that just leaves you a lot of time for this player to develop. I mean, if it takes him 3 years to develop, and he ends up being really good in those 3 years or 4 years, he's going to be 23 or 24, and that's a lot of rookies are that age when they're drafted, and they still need years to develop as well, potentially. So to get a player that's 20 years old, that just gives you a lot longer of a window, and apparently, I haven't seen much film of this player, but apparently he is a quite good linebacker. The interesting thing here is we have pretty good ties with Michigan. Obviously, we got Chase Winovich and then Josh Uche in back-to-back drafts. Now we're bringing in Cameron McGrone. I'm sure they're both familiar with this player, so there is going to be a good connection there, especially if Josh Uche eventually develops into a starter, and then this guy as well, Cameron McGrone. That'd be really interesting to have 3 Michigan linebackers on the team that kind of have that chemistry. I think that's a really cool thing. I think the value here with his age of 20, apparently he has really, really good sideline to sideline speed as a linebacker, could be a good middle type linebacker. I have him as an A plus just because of his age, and then I think really just a good player and good connections. There's a lot of good things about this pick, and I couldn't really find any bad things, especially in the 5th round, at the end of the 5th round. I love this pick for multiple reasons. In the beginning of the 6th round, that's going to be the 4th pick in the 6th round, we got Joshua Bledsoe, safety out of Missouri. He was a really, really good tackler here for Missouri for a long time from what I hear. His problems are mostly with his hips and just the smoothness of moving around with the hips. He doesn't really have great acceleration either, so he tends to get a little bit burnt downfield. He can cover those short routes, so maybe this is more of a strong safety type player in my opinion that'll play more of that. He's sometimes blitzing, sometimes covering. The tight end type safety would maybe be his strongest attribute. He's 200 pounds at 6 foot, so he is okay size for that type of thing. But with his lack of speed and smoothness, he's going to have some fatal flaws as a player, and that's my biggest problem here. He seems to have some stronger attributes for sure, but definitely some big weaknesses that might hold him back from ever being a good player in his career. I have him as a B for that reason. I think there's some good value here, but also some fatal problems here with his play style as well. Now, with our 7th pick, we got offensive tackle Will Sherman in the 13th pick of the 6th round from Colorado. And this is probably my least favorite pick. A lot of people had him as an undrafted rookie. And really, there might just be something that the Patriots are seeing about this player that I'm not necessarily seeing. But it seems like they kind of reached a little bit for this player, in my opinion. And for that reason, I'm going to give them a C for this pick. My lowest ranked pick of the entire draft. We have one more pick to go over though, and that's going to be wide receiver Trey Nixon with the 15th pick in the 7th round. And this player is interesting because he does have really good speed and size. He's 6'2", but also really fast, which is kind of a deadly combo. But we're kind of getting some classic Patriots wide receiver issues with this player as well, because the biggest hit on him is that he has cornerbacks glued to him all the time and cannot get open. And that's what a lot of our wide receivers struggle with. N'Keal Harry. But anyway, he has good speed, he has good size, and he kind of reminds me of a way less talented DK Metcalf, because that's kind of a lot of what we were hearing about him. You know, the size was great. Obviously, he was 6'4", so the size is a bit better for sure. And he was definitely faster than Trey Nixon as well, so that's why I'm saying a way less talented player here. But DK Metcalf, the biggest thing on him was people were complaining that he couldn't really get open. He couldn't really break away from the cornerbacks, and that wasn't really a problem for him at any point in his career. I don't think Trey Nixon will really be ever as good as DK Metcalf is, but I'm just saying there is some similarities there with the type of strengths and weaknesses there for sure. He was from UCF, by the way. I forgot to mention that. I'm giving him this one a C+. I mean, there is some strengths, which is why it's a C+ and not just worse than that, but definitely there is some big weaknesses as well, and that's what's holding him back from being a good value pick, in my opinion. Anyway, that's it for the draft. That's every single player in my grade on all of those players. The overall draft class, I mean, I have to give it an A+, especially because of a lot of those earlier picks, especially Mac Jones. And then Christian Barmore is my favorite pick in the draft, actually, for us, not Mac Jones, because Christian Barmore was the best interior defensive lineman in the draft, like I said, and should have gone in the first round. So you get the best value here and a really, really great player. And especially that's a big need for us, too, that interior defensive lineman position. So I think there's a lot of great things to say about this pick. And then just, Mac Jones is a great value. Ronnie Perkins seems to have some big strengths. Cameron McGrone is kind of an underdog, but really great pick in my opinion. Probably the third best pick in the draft in my opinion there. You get a lot of value with the young age and everything. There's so many things to like about this draft class, and it's a lot different than a lot of other Patriots draft classes I've watched as I've been a Patriots fan. I mean, there's always been things that I've just questioned every single draft, and I'm like, why would they do that? Like, why? And this one is just strong across the board. I'm not really questioning anything here. It seems like a more aggressive draft, in my opinion, from the Patriots as well. Trading up for Christian Barmore, taking the quarterback with the 15th pick. A lot of these picks is players that I think can be effective pretty quickly, especially the first 4 players. And then some of the other ones like Cameron McGrone and possibly Joshua Bledsoe could have impacts pretty soon, in the first couple of seasons or few seasons. There's great value here, and I think this was one of the better Patriots drafts I've ever covered, for sure, since I've made this channel. Anyway, do you agree? Let me know in the comments down below if you completely agree with this, if you agree with some things, or maybe you completely disagree with everything I've said in this video. Let me know in the comments down below because I'm curious to hear, and it also helps the algorithm a ton from you guys commenting. Be sure to destroy the like button because that also helps the YouTube algorithm as I'm trying to grow this channel. And be sure to subscribe if you like the Patriots or football, or if you just like my videos. Also, be sure to dislike the video and unsubscribe, or just don't subscribe if you're not already, if you hate puppies or kittens, because that's how we will know. If you dislike the video, we will know that you hate puppies and kittens, and also if you don't subscribe. So that's going to be the easiest way for you to let us know that that's how you feel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. I'll see you guys tomorrow.